Hey, what's up, guys? It is Dibes, Mr. Crockpot on Twitter. First and foremost, thank you to all of our over 1,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel. If you're new to this channel, make sure you hit like and subscribe below. Thanks for watching. Let's talk about Zhaire Smith. It was a season Zhaire would easily like to forget. Last season, a Jones fracture in his left foot in August, a horrible allergic reaction in September. Both of those injuries sidelined Zhaire before the season ever began. It took 6 months before Zhaire finally made his NBA debut. Zhaire Smith made his much anticipated pro debut with the Maine Red Claws on March 1st, 2019. Despite just logging 15 minutes and shooting 1 for 4 from the floor, his return was much more than just a box score. Zhaire Smith averaged 11.4 points and 2.5 steals per 36 minutes with the Delaware Bluecoats. Zhaire struggled with his jump shot, admittedly, but he continued to flash the athleticism, the ability to crash the offensive glass, and that excellent on-ball defense in 11 games with the Delaware Bluecoats. In one of the highlights of the Philadelphia 76ers season in 2018-2019, during the last game of the 2018 regular season, Zhaire logged a career-high 32 minutes versus the Chicago Bulls. His 17.5 assist performance was one of the best feel-good moments of the Sixers season. Despite just turning 20 years old in June of this year, expectations were extremely high entering the Sixers Summer League. And let's talk about the Sixers Summer League. In 4 games, Zhaire Smith averaged 13.2 points and 2.8 assists in 27 minutes per game during the Sixers Summer League. He shot 48% from the field and 38.5% from 3. Zhaire's on-ball defense was as good as advertised. Zhaire's body also looked improved, but the biggest standout has to be his handle. Zhaire's ability to utilize his handle, create space, and pull up from 3 was a pleasant surprise. In an interview after a comeback victory over the Oklahoma City Thunder, Zhaire said, "I like the pull-up jumper. I feel like that's my game." Zhaire Smith showed all Sixers fans that he was only beginning to scratch the surface of what he was to become. Zhaire Smith, along with rookie Matisse Thybulle, spent the majority of Sixers training camp learning under the guidance of veteran Josh Richardson. What kind of things did Zhaire work on during the summer? Zhaire Smith told the media that he spent much of the summer working with his trainer to become a more consistent shooter on the perimeter. Many Sixers fans, myself included, were of the belief that Zhaire Smith would be one of the first guards off the bench during the preseason. That came to a quick halt after learning that Matisse Thybulle and James Ennis would be the first 2 off of Brett Brown's bench. Thybulle's emergence as a real rotation player for the Philadelphia 76ers seemed to put Zhaire Smith's return to the Sixers on temporary hold. Most of Zhaire Smith's playing time in the preseason came during the 4th quarter. He finished the preseason averaging 6.2 points and 10.2 minutes per game. It was a quiet preseason for Zhaire Smith, receiving only the end of rotation minutes through 5 preseason games. Were there any positives from the preseason? Despite playing minimal minutes, Zhaire Smith certainly showed increased confidence throughout training camp and with the Philadelphia 76ers, and that included on and off the court. At the end of the preseason, it was clear that Zhaire Smith was the odd man out. Most notably, Zhaire Smith's basketball IQ and outside shooting required further seasoning before receiving increased playing time with the bigs. That brings us to Delaware Bluecoats camp. Over the past couple of weeks, Zhaire Smith has been working out in Wilmington with head coach Connor Johnson and the Delaware Bluecoats. Jason Blevins was at the 76ers Fieldhouse and interviewed Zhaire Smith. When asked what he's been told to work on from the Philadelphia 76ers, Zhaire responded, "Go out there, get your minutes, and be aggressive." The first numbers that stand out for Zhaire while with the G League last season was his shooting. Zhaire made 5 of his 26 attempts from 3 last year and had a true shooting percentage of 44.9%. Zhaire Smith clearly wants to show that he can be a more reliable floor spacer in the G League this season. Zhaire Smith's usage rate was 15.9% in 11 games with the Bluecoats last year. Sixers fans should expect all of these numbers to increase in 2019. Zhaire was asked what he wants to show while with the Delaware Bluecoats this year. His response, my all-around game. I want to continue to shoot the ball and show my overall defense. When asked how Zhaire's development will translate to the Philadelphia 76ers, Zhaire stated, just getting my minutes and shots in. Zhaire Smith expects to defend the best player on the court every time he puts on a Blue Coats uniform. He also expects to shoot more from the perimeter and believes he can defend 1 through 4 in the G League. Despite just turning 20 years old, Zhaire Smith is in a strange position of being one of the top leaders of the Delaware Blue Coats. And that brings us to the season. What should we expect from Zhaire Smith? A couple of weeks ago, Brett Brown opted to have Zhaire Smith start with the Delaware Blue Coats. It is clear that Brown wants Zhaire to develop his game at the 76ers fieldhouse rather than watch his peers perform on the sideline. After an extremely difficult rookie season, the Delaware Blue Coats is the perfect place for Zhaire Smith to showcase his elite on-ball defense and athleticism. What do I want to see from Zhaire Smith this season? I've got a couple things. First, I want to see Zhaire Smith be given a larger role on offense with the Coats. Yes, he was just coming back from injury, but most of what we saw from Zhaire Smith with the Blue Coats last year, he was running through the motions. He was standing on the perimeter or cutting backdoor. This is not what I want to see Zhaire. Just as many shots as Mario Shayok will receive, I want the same treatment for Zhaire Smith. Zhaire Smith shot 7.6 attempts per game last year with the Coats. That needs to go up, as well as his usage rate. Lastly, I want to see more points off turnovers from Zhaire Smith. We all know that Brett Brown requires 2 things from his wings and guards: deflections and points off turnovers. Create those fast breaks. Zhaire Smith averaged 1.5 points off turnovers with the Blue Coats last year. This is the real path for Zhaire playing with the Philadelphia 76ers this year. Between Zhaire Smith, Mario Shayok, and Norvel Pelle, there is a lot to be excited about with the Delaware Blue Coats roster this season. Whether it's Zhaire Smith crashing the offensive glass for putbacks or Norvel Pelle rolling to the basket for alley-oops, it is going to be a show at the 76ers Fieldhouse. The Delaware Blue Coats start off their season this Saturday at 7 p.m. at the 76ers Fieldhouse. I can't wait to see you there. For Dibes, myself, follow me on Twitter at Mr. Crockpot. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay awesome.